What are your top tips when it comes to networking and building connections?
Four things. One is I highly recommend candidates set up a LinkedIn profile. Right? Take the time out, do a very good profile, and start developing the contacts on LinkedIn. I think the second thing they should do is work with their career counselors at their universities and specifically try to get the contact information for hiring managers or events and actively pursue those. I think the third point of advice is that they should try to reach out and contact a recruiter that specializes in the industry that they're going into, all right, and establish that relationship with them. And with the end goal being is that this individual will be able to give them salient advice in terms of their career, but it's also a great resource in terms of that they can review their resume and critique it and basically enhance it for them, as well as looking at their LinkedIn profile and also provide feedback on that as well.
Networking is really a skill, and not everybody does it well, and not everybody does it all the same way, and it's not that there's one way or the other that is correct. My strategy has been really to sort of like cast a wider net and try different things. So one of them obviously is things like LinkedIn. So, research LinkedIn, look at your network on LinkedIn, look who's there, and just try to make those connections that way. Just reach out to people, ask for an informal chat, ask for a cup of coffee if they're willing to meet with you, just to tell you about their career, about what they're doing. The second thing is just really researching. Like once you research companies that you want to go to, then you can start to develop that network based on that. You can still use tools like LinkedIn to really sort of dive deep into understanding, okay, so you work at Microsoft, you work at Apple, you work at Facebook, would you be willing to connect me with somebody, with one of your friends, that I can talk to about roles in that company? But you need to do research to do that. And then a third thing that I would say is just throwing yourself out there, whether that's going to researching events, going to career fairs, that may be in a certain vertical you're interested in, meeting people, not being shy, just making yourself, putting yourself out there and just meeting those people. That would probably be number 3. And maybe the last one that I would say is confidence. Confidence is huge. It's very easy to go to these events or to go meet people or to go to career fairs and whatnot, but the confidence to be able to walk to somebody only comes with 2 things in my mind. It comes with practice, and it comes with research, with knowledge. So if you're gonna go talk to me, I would have expected that you've researched Google, you've researched what we do, you know a bit about our products, and that you've built that confidence to essentially come in and approach me and network with me.
Honestly, my idea of building a network is not a group of people who you go to when you have problems or you have questions. A network is a group of resources, and you should make the people in your network feel like you care about them genuinely. That means, wishing them a happy birthday. If they got a promotion, hey, thumbs up on LinkedIn. You should reach out, once a month, at least twice a month, just to see how they're doing. Because when I feel like you're invested in me, if I know that you need something, I'll be more likely to help you because I feel like there's a connection. If you come to me every time that you run into a roadblock, no one wants to be in a one-sided relationship.
What should students take into consideration when reaching out to professionals?
I think one of the important things is that you have to be cognizant of the time constraints that these individuals have, right? In the industry, we're quite busy, and this person is taking time out of their day to meet you. So my advice is to treat that meeting like you would an interview, right? You want to make sure that you show up on time. You want to make sure that you're dressed professionally and that you conduct yourself in a respectful and courteous manner. Also, be prepared in terms of having substantive questions, not only about the industry, but about the role and the company that you're pursuing.
So they should be thinking about a few things. They should be thinking about, especially for students, they should be thinking about timeline. So every company is different. We typically won't look at the student resumes throughout the year. So they should have researched a little bit more about the company they're talking to understand if there's like specific intern programs, if there's sort of post-grad programs that they sort of, you know, can apply to, because we tend to be more methodical. So especially for first-year students, I would say start really early as like first as early as like, you know, the beginning of Q4 of the year. So like September, October, which typically tends to be hard because it's the beginning of the school year. But even at that point already, you should start to have like, you know, slowly like done your research on what you want to do. We'll typically close our internship programs by roughly December, January, sometimes a bit later, and then we'll already know who is coming for like the next summer. The other thing is, again, just do your research, know what roles you want, and try to be as specific as you can as far as like, you know, your interests, as far as your skills, so that you're making it very easy for us to find that right match for you as a student trying to land an internship that way.
I would ask that you take the time to know a little bit about what I do. So, you know, whether if you're reaching out to me because of my affiliation with Baruch, to know that, you know, that I did my undergrad here. If you're reaching out because of my role at Citi and your interest in rating agencies, know a little bit about the rating agency space. Just do your homework. It really just comes down to, it makes a more effective conversation, and if we're meeting for coffee for half an hour, it makes it easy if we could just sit down and hit the ground running. That's about it.
What do you expect someone to know before their initial outreach in terms of networking?
One of the things they need to do is to do their homework in terms of the company themselves and of the industry, right? So one of the things you want to look at is the company's website, you know, understand what they do, understand what the role is and how it fits within the company structure, and also do research in terms of, you know, some of the events that are happening in the industry and how they could conceivably impact the role that you're looking at.
I think some students that I've seen really do this well are students that have obviously, like, you know, they've seen my profile on LinkedIn, so they know that I'm in recruiting. They know that I'm in recruiting for cloud, which is only one product area within Google. We have a lot of those. So a combination of just being able to understand my role, having done some research about Google as a whole, but also cloud specifically, because unless that's not an interest of yours, right? So I mean, but if you're interested in cloud or in Google, then you should at least be able to like say, hey, I've seen that you're hiring for cloud. You know, I think that this area of growth is incredibly, you know, interesting. I've read an article about X, Y, and Z, and something again that shows that passion, because that's going to show me that they have done the research and that they care, right? Somebody just coming to me and saying, I want to work at Google because it's a great company, right? That's more like the standard that you hear across the board. But somebody who's went 1-2 steps further and shows, I've taken the time, I've looked at your profile, I've researched you, I've researched cloud, right? It shows me this person is passionate, and they will likely be successful here because of that.
I would say definitely take into consideration the fact that, you know, the person does have real world commitments. You may not hear back, you know, right away. It may take a day or two. We do read them. I promise I do. But, you know, it sometimes just takes a day or two for us to get back to you. And we just ask that you be a little patient and don't get discouraged.